Attention, the following broadcast has been approved by Outcasted OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi guys, Megan Ross here giving you this week's Smackdown review. Let's dive right into it. We opened Smackdown with LA Knight on the mic, and he's going to talk about how he's now joining John Cena in Fastlane for the tag match, but is very quickly interrupted by Paul Heyman and the Bloodline. The Bloodline and Paul Heyman are significant throughout most of Smackdown, especially with the story they are planning out, but we will get onto that. Paul Heyman very much talks about the respect that LA Knight now has, and that it's been brought to Paul Heyman's attention. He has years of knowing who is the next up-and-coming megastar, and does state it is LA Knight, but it is pissing him off how the fans are being around him and just gravitating towards him. And the fact of now that it's become his attention, he also gives him his condolences because now the Bloodline have to do something about it. We very much get LA Knight respond with saying, "Are you done running your gums? Like, thanks for all the respect and everything, but let me check my receipt here. I don't remember buying into your BS." Jimmy then quickly takes the mic off Paul Heyman, makes Jimmy aware of who he is, saying he is that guy. I'm that man, Jimmy Uso, with the Enforcer Solo and the OG, Paul Heyman. We're gonna get you, because I have to reiterate, you're not making it to Fastlane. So they go to jump him, everything like that. Cena runs down to help him out. Paul Heyman eggs them to walk away, be like, "No, save that for tomorrow. Don't fight him now. Don't fight him now." They're reluctant to move, but they do, and they head to the back, which is very interesting. But then LA Knight very quickly goes, "Nah, you guys, you know, we've got Fastlane coming up, but I'm thinking about tonight. You guys were dressed for a fight, but now you don't want to fight. How about this then? Tonight, Jimmy Uso, wannabe tribal chief, versus me, so I can punt you to the moon, and we have a match." So the main event of tonight is LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso, which I thought was pretty cool. Jimmy very quickly responds saying, yes, Paul Heyman looked done in this situation, and you can see he's exasperated. He's not really feeling himself because he used to have control of Jimmy, and now Jimmy's being more outrageous, going out of his way, being like, "I can say this, I'll do this, I'll get it sorted." We see them walking backstage, like a segment of them to head backstage, and as we get to the backstage areas, we see Judgment Day coming to SmackDown with JD McDonough standing to the side. Damian Priest very quickly goes, "What's he doing here? Why is he joining us?" And Rhea makes it very clear, "I asked him to join us, and we're here for a purpose," which I thought was very interesting to see. And we get to find out where that goes. We get our first proper wrestling match of the night, which is Charlotte Flair tagging with Asuka against Io and Bayley. This is the match just before the triple threat at Fastlane of Io, Charlotte and Asuka. A lot of this match had a back and forth quite early on. Io was really trying to punish Asuka, and Charlotte going for very quick roll-ups, Hurricane Ranas. A lot of tags in and out between Bayley and Io, really separating the rings so Charlotte couldn't get the hot tags against Asuka. Io went straight back into how Io and Asuka had their one-on-one match, with going a lot of submission holds and very good technical wrestling style, to then also going high-flying. Interesting note is consistently Dakota Kai has been holding Io's belt. And I know that's very interesting because we know the reason Dakota can't wrestle right now. She's still off on injury with her knee problem that she's been having. It's kind of reflared back up. But maybe this is also foretelling. Maybe this is foreshadowing that Dakota Kai is going to get to a point where she's done with Bayley and Io disagreeing and arguing all the time. And now she's going to take matters into her own hand. She becomes champion. She leads Damage Control, and she makes it clear this is what we now do going forward. I'd like that as a booking choice, but we won't know till that story progresses. Asuka goes for a dropkick in the corner, and I found it really unique that Bayley dived and saved Io out of the way. So it does show Bayley does care for her team members, and she realises she messed up doing this triple threat. She basically booked it for Io without Io being able to speak for herself, which I thought was a bit interesting, stacking the odds against Io when she's meant to be your teammate. But now Bayley's trying to play as it was genuinely a misinterpretation. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it like that. We get a lot of back and forth again, same isolating Charlotte out. She does get the hot tag, does a giant crossbody to Bayley, multiple chops happen. Really interesting like powerlift throw straight onto Io. We get a really cool neck breaker and back breaker combination that happens to Bayley. Asuka tags back in and walks the top rope. Charlotte also tags to help join to what looks like they're going to do a superplex off the top onto Bayley. But then Io comes in, grabs all of them, throws them all down, which I thought was awesome, made Io look really strong. She didn't take a lot of damage, but Bayley was in that casualty line. But she also then took out Charlotte and Asuka 2-in-1 there. So it worked in their favour. We then get the awkward part where Charlotte double boots Bayley twice. Io gets a Meteora. Asuka goes to jump in the ropes, like back into the ring to help. Asuka gets caught by Bayley doing the distraction and gets double booted by Charlotte. Then we also have Io accidentally getting hit by Bayley. It was kind of just like a hip toss bump, which just made Io fall out of the ring. She didn't properly get as much hurt as Asuka did. And then Charlotte quickly gets the win on Bayley because of the distractions with a natural selection. I wasn't too happy Charlotte got the win here because now it makes it feel like Charlotte is going to win at Fastlane. But sometimes, if we go off wrestling predictions and how people are, if you win the night before, you're probably not going to win the next night. So hopefully Io retains. But I just feel this storyline of inserting Charlotte didn't need to happen. Asuka versus Io, once again on an actual pay-per-view, would have made more sense. Not just one Smackdown. They've done that now. Let's put them in a triple threat. I would have made them probably have a 1-on-1 again, but with a better stipulation or something more interesting to it. But because of it being a triple threat, it's like no hard bars, no rules, like anyone can interrupt anyone. So there's no like penalty for it really to get damage control being involved in this match. And we will see how that goes. We then have Jimmy saying backstage that you got to be here to make the calls, you got to be here to make the decisions. Your tribal chief hasn't really been here, so I've been doing the decisions for him. We have to act on what's actually happening right now, which I found very interesting. They then talk about the door being open to walking in, and the whole of the Judgment Day are sat there. And they were like, you're in the wrong locker room. And they're like, no, we're meant to be here. We're exactly where we want to be. The whole of Judgment Day and Bloodline staring each other down, and Rhea pipes up and states, right, everyone out, me and Paul Heyman need to talk. Everyone slowly leaves, except for Damien and Solo, which I thought was very interesting to see there. We see Damien staring down Solo, Solo staring back. Rhea then goes to Damien and just goes, Damien, look, I'll be okay. Like, go on, head up. And Paul Heyman like leans to Solo and says the same, like, look, it's going to be okay. Look, go ahead, go out. So I thought that was interesting, and we'll see where the conversation now occurs shortly after. We have Bobby Lashley versus Rey Mysterio, with all of LWO joining him to kind of keep a close eye on the actions that could occur because the Street Profits jumping them last time. We finally get the in-action return of Bobby Lashley, which I'm super happy about. It was really nice to see him back in the ring, and he came with a game plan. He did several bear hug lock submissions on Rey. Every time Rey tried to get his momentum, it was kind of gone for him. He started fighting him on the outside, throwing him pillar to post, literally like throwing him into each different ring pillar they had, punching him on the outside, everything like that. We had a really cool spot though where Rey got quite a bit of momentum back, where he got a reverse, did 2 619s, where he hit one to the stomach and then one to the head, where everything then kind of broke down, where LWO and Street Profits were fighting on the outside, which gave Bobby Lashley enough time to kind of recover himself. We get Joaquin Phoenix and Cruz del Toro basically being taken out of commission. One got thrown into the stairs. One literally got like power lifted, slammed straight onto his head and his back on the concrete, on the ground. And then Rey took both the Street Profits out. And then when he went back in the ring, Bobby Lashley hit him with a spear. This was very interesting because it now plays to the story of Bobby made it very clear who's going to win. We then get a spot where LW are talking backstage, say the two of them are not cleared to wrestle tomorrow. We need to find a third. And Ray's like, let me make a phone call. Is this the debut and final return of Carlito? Because they've had Carlito signed for a bit of time now. Since he showed up at Puerto Rico, we've not saw anything since. Is this who they're going to call? Or are they getting someone else? Because it won't be Dragon Lee. Because Dragon Lee just recently had a match as well. And if Dragon Lee had that match, he would have just walked to Dragon Lee and said, like, yo, come join us. Like, come help us in this match. But it wasn't. So, very interesting. Rhea then suggests a mega team of the Bloodline and Judgment Day. States we are stronger together if we work together. And says Paul Heyman's a wise man, so be wise about it, make the decision. And he's like, oh yeah, I've just got to get it authorized. And Rhea's like, cuts him off and says, it's authorized. And he's like, oh yeah, no, it's authorized for the Judgment Day, but I need to authorize it with the Tribal Chief. And Rhea just dead looks him in the eyes and goes, no, it's authorized, acknowledged me. You're going to acknowledge me as much as your former boy Jey Uso did on Raw this week, or we'll find out who's stronger, the Judgment Day or the Bloodline. You make that decision. And she then just says, you can make the phone call, like, go make it. I loved this. It kind of makes it definitely feel Rhea is now the leader of Judgment Day. She's making powerhouse decisions. She's now stating, this is what we are doing going forward. This is how we are going to be. And I'm here for it. We then, as said, get the Austin Theory vs Dragon Lee match. Awesome that Dragon Lee is getting the opportunity to have main roster matches and be involved in more main roster feuds. I already thought he was built for that as soon as he touched NXT. I know they wanted to make sure the Dragon Lee character fit and build it up in NXT, but I feel main roster is the right place for him already. He is that luchador. He is that guy. He gives a breath of fresh air to a lot of the content we are getting. Austin Theory made a very quick promo about his ego against Dragon Lee, saying, oh, you're in the spotlight of Austin Theory. You're finally getting the opportunity because I'm the 150 million hit guy. That's me, because his video with The Rock hitting that many video views, he's now saying it was all him because he let The Rock join the ring with him, not the other way around. Yeah, but like that, Dragon Lee comes out, guns blazing, several kicks, beautiful Hurricane Run that he hits, and as soon as he gets the momentum, Grayson Waller comes out to the aid of Austin Theory. Austin Theory gets some cheap shots in. The match goes very back and forth after that. And the crowd were very much more for Dragon Lee, which was awesome to hear, because that's definitely more emphasis to push him to stay on main roster if fans are eating him up that quickly. And that's only like probably his second match in the main roster area now. So it's very great to see that. Awesome snap German suplex. To me it looked more like a Snapdragon, but I don't know if they're allowed to do Snapdragons in WWE because I haven't seen one in a long time. But it looked awesome either way, and I feel like if his name's Dragon Lee, he should do Snapdragons more. But that's just me. But yeah, the match was great. As stated, we had an awesome rollover Liger Bomb that Dragon Lee did as well. We then get an amazing somersault dive over the top to hit both Austin Theory and Grayson Waller by Dragon Lee. But as Austin Theory gets back in the ring, Waller hits him behind, so that way it looks like Dragon Lee is done and out. For a near fall, Dragon Lee still luckily kicks out, goes to get another chance at the top rope. But what you quickly notice is Grayson Waller gets knocked out, and we're not too sure who does it until they zoom in properly and we see Cameron Grimes gets there. As this distraction happens with Cameron Grimes knocking out Waller on the outside, Austin is in complete shock and Dragon Lee gets the roll-up victory, where you see Austin Theory is furious. He is bewildered that he just lost in that way. And I thought it was really cool, especially to see Dragon Lee get his hands held up and also see Cameron Grimes being involved. It's wrestlers we don't get to see as often, so it was nice to see a little story progression going on there. We had the last build promo video package of Seth vs Sheamus being the last man standing and how they would go to wit's end and put everything in that ring. And Shinsuke is speaking about how he is going to make it difficult for Seth, how he's not going to be able to hold his children, he's not going to be able to hold his wife when she is upset. It's going to be, his back is going to be brittle, he is not going to be able to wrestle again, and he will end him. And Seth went, if that's the way I go out, I'm going to make sure my family aren't going to be disappointed in me, because I'm going to put everything in that ring. I'm going to prove I am that guy, I can do this. And I thought it was awesome. What's been interesting with these Seth Rollins promos, the commentary team have been making alludes to CM Punk as well, with some of the CM Punk references, where Michael Cole had one about being the puppeteers and the puppet, which was a very old school Ring of Honor promo that CM Punk did. And a second one comes up, arguably the most famous one that has been mentioned by CM Punk and was used in an AEW feud of MJF and CM Punk, of the Devil's greatest trick was telling people they never exist, like he never existed. And they used it for this Seth Rollins promo. Is this to set up Seth Rollins versus CM Punk at Survivor Series? Who knows? But if that's what it is, it's like dangling fruit straight in front of us. Like, you can't drop teasers like that and the fans not be like, yep, straight alluding to CM Punk. We've got CM Punk back. And it's going to be mixed feelings for fans. I know some people want it. I know some people don't. We will all see how that progresses. With that, we now get to the main event of Jimmy Uso versus LA Knight. They both walk down to the ring. But just before that, we get the announcements of what's happening next week. And we also get an NXT advertisement. So Pretty Deadly are back in the ring next week. Roman Reigns is returning. And Triple H will appear. And NXT has a stacked main roster talent of Asuka, Cody Rhodes. You're going to have Paul Heyman on the side of Bron Breakker and John Cena on the side of Carmelo Hayes for the match that they're having against each other, which I thought was awesome. And then just as NXT ends, we hear the Undertaker Gong. I originally was confused by this and why would they have Undertaker Return, but it now I remembered NXT's next pay-per-view that they're doing is Halloween Havoc. So maybe he's a special guest referee or he's going to be helping host Halloween Havoc this year. We will all see where that progresses and what he says. I know it's not going to be in a wrestling capacity because he is done and retired from wrestling, but it will be cool to see him nonetheless. We then get into the match, and the match very much becomes a momentum one between LA Knight and Jimmy. They've done, I can powerhouse slam you to the ground. Jimmy returns, does the same favour. We get a lot of the usual strike combinations from Jimmy. LA Knight gets the one up on him and still gets to hit his elbow drop that he usually does. But as soon as he goes to hit Blood Force Trauma, Solo Sikoa causes it to be a DQ match. He gets the beat down on LA Knight. Cena runs down to come and help, which I will like, oh, okay, here we go. This is where they're going to just go start fighting, which they do, to then Judgment Day walk out. Rhea and Heyman shake hands. Judgment Day all line up to go against John Cena and LA Knight. We think that is it. We think, wow, numbers game. They're going to get jumped. Nope. Jey Uso appears to come and help their back, staring directly down at his brother. Doesn't say anything, just stares down at his brother. Which everyone else is like, yep, no, it's fine. Let's do it. To Cody Rhodes runs out and comes to help and aid them as well, because he has a feud with the Judgment Day at Fastlane for their tag match. We then see Paul Heyman pull Solo to the side, and everyone goes at war with each other, goes into a massive fight. Solo goes to fight Cena, gets the one up on Cena, but LA Knight then knocks Solo out of the ring. JD McDonough is left in the center. He gets hit by everyone's signature moves. So we see the 5-knuckle shuffle, we see an F5 happen, we see Jey Uso hitting a super kick, we see Cody Rhodes hitting the crossroads on him. And I just thought it was unfair to JD McDonough. Like, you've kind of just now finally acknowledged him in the Judgment Day and you're just making him the battering ram sell guy for him to be hit with everyone. And you have the win of all of them standing in the ring to end. So you've made Judgment Day and Bloodline line up, but they all still lost. Like, no, that's not how that should have worked. I understand you want to make the babyfaces look good, but, like, in the lead to the pay-per-view, you make the heels look good in that moment. You make the heels look triumphant and come over. So then when they get in the pay-per-view and the babyfaces win, not saying all of them will win because I don't want Judgment Day to lose the tag belts, but there's no like belt clause between John Cena and LA Knight, so Solo and Jimmy winning wouldn't hinder them. So yeah, I just find it a bit weird you made the heels lose as bad as you did, make the babyfaces look on top. All in all, I loved this SmackDown for the story progression of Judgment Day. A lot of things were clear. Rhea has now solidified herself pretty much as the new leader. We've got JD McDonough basically being invited in by Rhea and stating he's here on my behalf. I've asked him here. The Judgment Day, I've now kind of put the pressure on Bloodline, and Bloodline have gone, yeah. But Roman hasn't said. We don't know if he has or hasn't. Paul Heyman's made that decision, and he thinks it's the wise one. But we'll all see next week what Roman says. I find this very interesting, a story progression, especially because Survivor Series is coming up. I thought it was very much going to turn into a Bloodline versus the Judgment Day, but now they've kind of worked together. So is it going to be a group of babyfaces versus half Bloodline, half Judgment Day? We'll see. Either way, let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Stay tuned to our other reviews. There will be a Fastlane review straight after the pay-per-view. And if you follow us on the socials, some of us will be live watching the pay-per-view. We won't be showing it on screen, but you'll see our raw reactions if you want to come watch us. It mainly will be on TikTok Live. But yeah, if you like these videos as well, feel free to hit that bell, subscribe, and you will see all most recent videos that we do. I'll see you all on the next review.